Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hope Rising. We're so happy that you joined us today. Today is a live stream day, and it's an interactive program. So if you have questions, please feel free in the comments to ask the questions and give us a shout out where you're watching from. This live stream is going literally around the world. We've been getting interesting comments through private message of where you're watching from, but go ahead and post it right there on the comment section. We have an amazing program today. You're going to be just touched when we get to talk to our special guest. I'm going to tell you a couple things that are happening in our region here in Western Maryland. We're coming to you today from the studio of Allegany Media. We have a couple of things we want to let you know. We thank our sponsors. We have Lighthouse of Hope Church that are sponsoring today. Scarpelli Funeral Home. Thank you, Nick, so much for sponsoring. Scarpelli has been in business in our community since 1947. They have 2 locations here in the Cumberland region. And we thank you so very kindly, Nick, for sponsoring us today at Hope Rising. So this coming Saturday, there is going to be down in Kaiser, West Virginia, which is just a little bit, maybe 20 minutes south of Cumberland. There's something called Hope Fest, which pretty much goes along with our theme, what we're talking about today. And I want to read to you a little bit what's going to happen at Hope Fest this Saturday. It's on Route 220 in Kaiser. It's going to be held at the South End Playground, which is right across the street from the McDonald's. It's going to be an educational festival, and it's going to be regarding any and all addictions, whether it's substance abuse, alcohol, gambling, whatever the addiction. They're going to be addressing all of these different issues. There's about 12 different booths that will be set up down there where you can go and speak with representatives from each. Some of these are Teen Challenge, there's City Reach, Pathways, there's Nar-Anon, the Travis Moreland Foundation, Berkeley County Resource Center. There's going to be some Narcan training sessions. If you'd like to have the opportunity to get trained, that's going to be going on. Friends of Hope Rising, Reverend Bruce McBride and his lovely wife Judy, they're going to be there as storytellers. So there will be an area for children to go and hear some wonderful stories. Reverend Bruce is fabulous. He's a ventriloquist, if you can imagine. He is so much fun. And his wife, what a lovely couple. They have over 100 stuffed animals that they're going to be giving away at the Hope Fest, along with their storytelling. There's going to be music, food pantry, clothing giveaway. It's just going to be an awesome time. We're planning to go, my husband and I are planning to go there ourselves, so hopefully we'll get to meet you in person. Please stop by and say hello if you see us on the grounds there. So that's this coming Saturday, Kaiser, West Virginia. 10 to 3 are the hours. Thank you so much for letting me share with you about that. Next week, we have another guest speaker that's coming. It's going to be a really good guest speaker. We have Patty Wright from Western Maryland Regional Medical Center. Patty she's got her doctorate degree now, and she's going to share with us about volunteering. So make sure next week you get us on your calendar to watch then. Today, though, we have with us Julie Westendorff. Julie is with the Allegany Arts Council, Allegany right here in Western Maryland. And she is the executive director. So the program today, it's going to be kind of hand in glove with about the Hope Fest. The Allegany Arts Council will be having several events and exhibits with a theme called resilience. I had read a paragraph not very long ago, and the paragraph that I read was very eye-catching, and I want to read this to you all today. It's intriguing and eye-catching, and learning more about resilience. And this is quoted, "Its purpose is to help people with resilience, what they've faced, suffered from, and overcome a range of challenges and loss due to substance use and or mental health disorders." That's a little bit of a premise of what we're going to talk about today. I'd like to introduce you all now to Julie Westendorff. Julie, thank you so much for being with us on Hope Rising.
Thank you, Donna. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for having us today.
Thank you so much. So I have a little list of questions for you, not too many. So I'd like you to share with our audience, please let us know a little bit, how did this initiative begin?
Fortuitously. I actually became the executive director of the Allegany Arts Council on January 2nd of this year. And
Okay.
I remember that day well because I also received a phone call from Peter Brune, who is the founder and an artist with the New Day campaign based out of Baltimore. And Peter has been working for about 4 years on art-based initiatives that are aimed at reducing the stigma of substance use and mental health disorders. And Peter was contacting folks across the state of Maryland to talk about doing art exhibitions in their communities. And for me, as I mentioned to you before, this topic is incredibly important because I too have a personal connection, and I have used it to some degree as we've talked with our members and followers at the Arts Council. But I lost my sister Glenda to a suicide by opiate overdose 10 years ago.
I'm so sorry.
When I got the phone call from Peter, it seemed to be something that had wings behind it and something that I really wanted to pursue.
Yes, it was meant to be for you to be the person.
It did.
January 2nd.
Yeah, it has always, I thought it was not coincidence that phone call came on the day that it came. So
I agree with you. I believe there's destiny to it, right?
I think so.
Well, that's very good. All right, so my second question, what are the reasons the Allegany Art Council wants to pursue events related to substance abuse and mental disorders?
Okay, well, this is an interesting question because I've been asked a lot of times since we began this process in January, and we've had to really think about the reasons why we wanted to do it. So it really boiled down to this. There are so many folks in our community through government agencies, behavioral health resources, law enforcement, and many, many others who are working on this issue. And I think that's one thing I want your viewers to understand is that there are so many people in this community who are working to address this from many different angles. And there's a deep care and compassion about the community here. So I hope that that's one thing your viewers will understand about our community here in Allegany County. But for us, we felt in April of this year, we invited about 30 local agencies to come to a brainstorming session with us. And out of that group, we had everybody from social services to people from law enforcement backgrounds. We had people from the Family Crisis Resource Center, from the local colleges and universities. We had a really diverse cross-section of people in our community who attended. And we asked them what were some of the challenges that they were facing in addressing this topic from whatever angle they had. And I will not forget one of the comments that we received from Chuck Hinnant with the Allegany County Sheriff's Office, I believe.
Police, but that's all right. That's okay. It's all right.
Who told us that, he felt that they were limited sometimes, that they were so siloed into what they did, that they couldn't, tackle everything that they wanted to tackle. And he mentioned that he was appreciative of the fact that all of these groups got to come together and kind of share what they were doing. And so we left with the Arts Council with an idea that this was an opportunity for us not to showcase the light on ourselves, but really to showcase the great work that people are doing through art. And to expand a bit further on why art, our experience, as you know, we run a professional gallery here in Cumberland called the Seville Gallery. And we noticed that no matter what show we have in the gallery, art unifies people. Sometimes it makes them argue, sometimes it makes them cry, sometimes it leads to conversations, but it always leads to conversations. And we recognize that art is a unifier. And so for us, being able to have this exhibition and to visually show some of these topics so that they're not just printed words on paper or just someone talking at us at a conference. It really gave us a powerful platform to showcase some of these stories in our community. And so That is sort of the reason why the arts. The other reason why this is important is we know, and research shows, and there's so much more light being shed on the fact that the arts are a companion to healing. We see it a lot with our wounded military veterans and people from Walter Reed Hospital, where I moved from in the DC area, where they're using art therapy initiatives and emotional support animals and lots of other what we used to call alternative healing strategies to help people cope with anxiety and stress. And we know that the root of substance abuse and some of the mental health challenges are things like stress and anxiety and pain. So until we're able to address the root cause, then we can't address the epidemic that's happening in our community. So art plays a really valuable role in this conversation, and we're excited to bring it here to the community.
Really awesome. And it is really true what you said about art. There is a connectivity with art and people. I remember one time my husband and I went to the Smithsonian National Museum of Art, and just looking at different pieces, that might not be a piece of art you would take home, but to stand and look and respect and admire just the way the light would be on a certain picture. There is something that invokes emotion, like just the respect and honor that somebody took to make that. So art is healing, isn't it?
It is, and it can be provoking. I mean, just as many times as I have someone appreciate a piece of art in my gallery, I have someone that's angry by it.
You got both sides.
And that's good too, because sometimes it can spark emotion in us. It can inspire us to raise up and take some cause of action. And I think our community will find in this art exhibition that they're going to be moved, because one of the primary goals of this is not to just talk about substance use and mental health disorders, but the real key is reducing stigma. And we've seen this in the planning process just for this. For example, some of the artwork that you'll see in our gallery next month features people from right here in Allegany County. And in the process of identifying who those people could be, there were people who could not participate because they had family members who were not supportive, or because they were facing stigma from people around them and they didn't want others to know about their story. And that tells us that there's so much more work that we need to do, because people can't heal unless they can heal openly and freely without worry about how they're going to be perceived or how they're going to be judged. And so this is just one small step in helping share their stories and make them more human.
That's good. It's important to break down the walls of stigma. It is so important that people feel they can talk openly and have healing and acceptance from others. We have to be compassionate individuals.
Yes.
And that is one thing you guys are really trying to do, show love and compassion to others.
Yeah,
it's
and
beautiful.
One of the most important aspects of this for us in the beginning was to make sure that anyone who played a role in this topic in our community could participate. And so you'll find in our series of events that we have all kinds of participants. We have our faith-based community represented, and they're going to do a special event and talk some about the role that the faith-based community plays in this. We have behavioral health resources. We have a lot of different things, but it's really aimed to tackle this from every angle. And we don't want to leave anybody out.
That's important. It's all-inclusive. All right, so what do you hope to accomplish with the exhibits and programs?
Oh, well, I would love to say that I don't have to open our local paper and find another obituary from someone who's passed away due to substance abuse or an overdose. But the work is hard and it's incremental, and it's going to take a long, long time to eradicate this issue entirely. But I think what we are hoping is that we can help begin to pave the way for people in our community who are facing these challenges, who are using, who are in active recovery, maybe people who know they have a problem, but they haven't had the courage yet to step up and say that they need help. That we create a kinder and a gentler path for them to do that. one of the things we've learned is this battle is hard enough for people.
Right.
They don't need any more any more judgment or any more frustration or anger or misunderstanding. So our hope is that we can help open the door for that and also shed the light on some of the great work that's being done.
Sorry. So there's a month of exhibits coming and programs. Will you tell us what's coming up in October?
Yes, we have a very full month of activities. The pinnacle of the month really is the art exhibition that will be happening at the Allegany Arts Council. And that is focused on stories of hope. And as I mentioned earlier, it will profile a number of members of our own community, as well as feature some of the artwork of Peter Brune, who is the founder of the New Day campaign, and his daughter Elisif, who really sparked the whole thing with the New Day campaign when she passed away 4 years ago from a heroin overdose. And we'll also have some other artists involved in that, but it'll be an exciting event. And so that will kick off on October 5th through the 30th. And then October 7th, we will host an opening reception. So some of the artists will be present, some of the people profiled in the artwork will be present, and many of our partners and our agencies will be present. And then, if you'll forgive me, I can't remember the whole month-long of events.
There was like 8 different events, weren't there?
On October 5th will be really the kickoff of the month, and that is, we'll be featuring that at Allegany College of Maryland, so big thanks to them for all of their support. And we'll kick off the entire month with a program called Heroin, This Is Us, and it features a documentary that was first introduced at Sundance about 3 women in Huntington, West Virginia, a community very much like ours, who is dealing with this issue and some of the incredible work that they're doing to make their community different. And so that will start our program, and then we will have a community conversation about whether that does represent us and where we need to go from there.
I've seen that. It's really awesome.
Yes, it's a great film, and I encourage you to come see it. Then on October 14th, we're going to move up to Frostburg. And we'll host an event in the evening called Gather Round Ye People. It'll be held at City Place in Frostburg, and it's open to the public. And that night is more of a sharing experience. We'll have music by Black Guy Fawkes. We'll have people sharing stories, spoken word, poetry, music, and it's just a great night to get together and use all of the arts as a way to demonstrate our care for each other and talk about some of these issues in a very soft way.
That's nice.
Then on October 18th, First Presbyterian Church of Cumberland will be hosting a beautiful program called Anonymous Requiem. That night is a ceremonial event, and it will share remembrances of some people in our community who have lost their battle with substance use and mental health disorders, and it will be a storytelling event with a ceremonial component. And then at the end of that night, Pastor Caroline Kelly and some others from the community will be talking a little bit about the role that faith-based initiatives play in this and what work they're doing inside their churches and their organizations. Then on October 19th, we are extremely excited to be at Frostburg State University, where we'll host a program called Elisif's Story, Loss and Resilience. And that is going to be a really powerful program because it features Peter Brune. And Peter is going to talk about the story of his daughter Elisif, her battle with substance use, and a little bit about what his life has been like since she passed away and some of the work that he's been doing. So it will be a good afternoon. And then on October 28th, we will have an outdoor event here called Healing of the Heart downtown on the Bricks. And it will also feature some bluegrass music. So you'll see that as a theme throughout our entire month. And that will be a healing fair where we'll present some
alternative ways of healing. So there'll be a lot of different vendors there who will share what used to be considered alternative healing that's now become very mainstream. And it'll just be an educational opportunity for people to see what kinds of options are available for them in dealing with stress and anxiety and how to create calm in their lives. And then the last event will be our closing reception on October 30th, and that will be at the Arts Council. And really, it's a celebratory event. It's just an opportunity for us to get together and thank one another and celebrate for this month that we've been given. So it should be a full month. Please make plans to come out and join us.
That sounds like a full month. So if the viewers would like to have that list again.
Yes.
Is there going to be maybe on your Facebook wall, or is there some sort of link where they can go and look at what you have there,
Yes.
Julie?
So we have on the Allegany Arts Council, that's www.AlleganyArtsCouncil.org. I'm sorry.
.org. Okay.
We have the Resilience Project, and under that, there's a full list of events. You can also find links to our individual events on Facebook at our page at Allegany Arts Council. And then if you're interested in learning more about the New Day campaign, you can also go to newdaycampaign.com, where you can learn a little bit more about Peter's work.
Great. Well, that's very good to know that people can tap into all these different links and all. Alrighty, well, I'm coming down just to our last question. Yeah. It's not been too painful, has it?
No.
Alrighty, so what has been the response from the community partners and agencies? Oh
my gosh, overwhelming. I mean, the planning meeting that we had in April, it was like opening the doors and watching people run. And that really made us feel good. It's been very humbling for us as the Arts Council to have the opportunity to bring all of this good work together that many times goes unshown. There's no light on it, or people are toiling behind the scenes, but as a community we're not always aware of it. So it has been an incredible support, so much expertise and so much dedication and compassion in this group of people. So we're excited to share it with them.
That's awesome. Well, Julie, thank you for answering so many of these questions.
Sure.
You did such a great job explaining what's going to be happening. A month full of events going on. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So each week we do like to leave you with a message of hope, and I do have a little scripture I want to read to you now. This is from Ephesians 1:18. I pray that your hearts will be flooded with light so that you can understand the wonderful future He has promised to those He called, His holy people, who are His rich and glorious inheritance. That's a promise for you today, and I do pray that your heart will be flooded with the light of Christ. Thank you again for joining us today. We do thank our sponsors again, Lighthouse of Hope Church, Scarpelli Funeral Home. We thank the WMHS Past Perfect for providing the wardrobe that I'm wearing today, which you can be purchasing it in about a month at Past Perfect Boutique. We thank you. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor, get a hold of Ryan Brenneman at Allegany Media. Thank you again for joining us. We'll see you next Tuesday. God bless. Bye-bye.